So this video is going to be uh it's a key part of my research. And it's going to be kind of interesting cuz it's not a perspective I think is that anyone else currently has on these families. The only reason I'm looking at these families is because they were brought into my my visibility by the autosomal matching information. And it's kind of all beginning to make sense. Um, so the long and short of it is, descendants of my Smiths of Salt Creek Township, Jackson County, Indiana, uh, they all share a segment of DNA uh, that links them to Henry Smith and Elizabeth Ledford. So that's this DNA right here. And this is the chromosome browser view. So we found Henry and Elizabeth by matching to descendants of John Madison Spurlock, whose father, William Spurlock, married an Elizabeth Smith, and she was a daughter of Henry and Elizabeth Ledford, Henry Smith and Elizabeth Ledford. So it's interesting who Henry was for a number of reasons. We find in his pension record that he knew Colonel Elisha Smith. Colonel Elisha Smith, let me see if I can find him on my blog here. Yep. So Colonel Elisha Smith was a son of Kentucky Militia General William Smith, who was a sheriff of Rockcastle County, Kentucky, around 1810 or so. He settled initially in Lincoln around 1780, 1789, and then I believe he was the first sheriff of Rockcastle County, Kentucky. So Henry Smith, Elizabeth Ledford knew Colonel Elisha Smith, and my Isaac Smith and Nancy Hendricks, they lived very near William and Elisha in Rockcastle County, just outside of Mount Vernon. So they're probably related. The paper trail connects the two. The autosomal DNA connects my Isaac and Henry. It's a lot of things that are stronger than coincidences there, right? So that's why I have Henry Smith involved in my research here. If we look at the family, if we look at the social network of Henry Smith and Elizabeth Ledford, we see Henry enlisted under Captain Andrew Jeter. And both Henry and his two brothers, George and John, they enlisted under Andrew as well. They ended up fighting in Georgia. Henry's pension record details his campaign. But what's interesting is the social network of Andrew Jeter. His wife was a Mary Smith, who was a daughter of Ede Smith. And Mary had a sister, Olive, who married a Nathaniel Harrison. And as you can see here, this Nathaniel Harrison was the father of Olive Harrison, who married Stephen Smith, son of Cuthbert Smith and Elizabeth Chamberlain. Now, this puts Henry Smith, an autosomal connection, in the social circle of Cuthbert Smith, son of William Smith and Anne Isham. If we go back and there is some research I haven't published yet, and I have to digest it out of my email, but it's very well detailed. Descendants of Stephen Smith, who married Nancy Rainwater, they shared DNA on chromosome 9 with descendants of Josiah Smith and Elizabeth Collier through descendants of the Norwood family. So the first thing is that Stephen Smith and Nancy Rainwater, we found that they were incorrectly connected to a Smith family that's not related to mine. But we have found via DNA Nancy Rainwater is the correct person that my cousins are descended from. Distant cousins. I don't know how far removed they are, but they are distant cousins. It's a Y DNA match Smith line, descended from Nancy Rainwater and Stephen Smith of Blount County, Alabama. So, this is why I believe my Smiths are related to William Smith and Ann Isham, because we have Henry under Andrew Jeter. I suspect Henry was probably related to Eads in some way. I'm not sure how, but he was probably also related to William. The other thing that's really interesting is the Shadrach Smith story, because we found our Shadrach Smith is in Wake County, North Carolina, at the same time as a son and grandson of Cuthbert. So that is another thing that fits really well. I don't know how this is going to sound, but